Well, thank you all for being here today. This week, we not only paid our respects to those who perished on 9/11, but we have recommitted ourselves to ensuring the highest level of aviation safety through the presence of two highly trained pilots on every flight deck. With the help of the National Transportation Safety Board, we have learned hard lessons from previous accidents, and together, we have come together to raise the bar on pilot training requirements and reaffirm the need for at least two pilots on every commercial airline flight. As a result, we are enjoying the safest period in aviation history. And we're here today to make clear that we're not going back. Day in, day out, airline pilots safely transport passengers and cargo to their destinations, routinely performing their responsibilities with skill and professionalism. However, as these pilots standing with me can attest, they must also be able to safely manage the unexpected when things go wrong, sometimes terribly wrong. Each year at ALPA's Air Safety Forum, which is taking place right here in this hotel this week, we honor those flight crews who have successfully navigated unexpected and extraordinary events while piloting their aircraft. We award that extraordinary effort with one of our highest honors, the Superior Airmanship Award. Later tonight, I will have the high honor of recognizing two of our exceptional crews who overcame major challenges, led by example, and exemplified determination and courage. Alaska Airlines First Officer Emily Whiprud is being awarded the ALPA Superior Airmanship Award in recognition of the skill and professionalism she demonstrated when her aircraft experienced rapid depressurization caused by the left mid-exit door plug blowing out. On January 5th, 2024, at approximately 5:06 p.m., Alaska Airlines Flight 1282, a Boeing 737, departed Portland International. Following takeoff, the crew received clearance from ATC to climb to flight level 230. At approximately 16,000 feet, the crew heard a loud bang and pressure on the flight deck, nearly dislodging the captain's headset. First Officer Whiprud's headset was completely removed due to the increased airflow. Both pilots quickly donned their oxygen masks and noted that the door to the flight deck had blown open. Noise made communication extremely difficult. The crew promptly contacted air traffic control, declared an emergency, requested a lower altitude, and were directed to descend to 10,000 feet. The captain then asked for the rapid depressurization checklist, which First Officer Whiprud completed using the Quick Reference Handbook. With the checklist completed, the captain continued to maintain control of the aircraft and coordinated with ATC to return to the airport. The aircraft landed safely on runway 28 left, and all on board, including 2 flight crew members, 4 cabin crew members, and 171 passengers, disembarked at the gate. 7 passengers and 1 flight attendant sustained only minor injuries. Flight 1282 relied on their extensive training and experience, responded promptly to the in-flight emergency, and safely returned the severely damaged aircraft with all passengers and crews alive. Our next Superior Airmanship recipients are Captain Hugo Carvajal and First Officer Robert Bradine, Jr. These 2 extraordinary aviators executed a go-around that avoided a collision with another aircraft, which was taking off on the very same runway. At approximately 6:40 a.m. on the morning of February 4th, 2023, FedEx Express Flight 1432 was on approach for landing at runway 18 left at Austin's Bergstrom Airport. Captain Carvajal was flying when First Officer Bradine, the pilot monitoring, visually identified Southwest Flight 708 approximately 1,000 to 1,500 feet down the runway. A Boeing 737 with 123 passengers and 5 crew members aboard. First Officer Bradine quickly called for a go-around, which Captain Carvajal initiated, returning for a safe landing on 18 left. NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy recently recognized the crew in public comments, saying that the event could have been catastrophic if it wasn't for their heroic efforts, and I couldn't agree more. the crew of Flight 1432 maintained vigilance and responded immediately to an extremely dangerous and startling event, relying on their extensive training and experience to avert disaster. These events make crystal clear how critically important it is that we maintain the two-pilot standard that we currently have here in the United States. It's helped lead to the safest skies in the world. Remarkably, some corporate special interests are pushing to change that standard and lower the safety bar by allowing commercial flights to operate with only one pilot. This is a dangerous idea, and ALPA is committed to fighting it at every step of the way. For example, Airbus is actively working on a scheme that would allow single pilot operations during the cruise portion of flight. The manufacturer is actively seeking European regulatory approval, and if that's granted, the pressure on U.S. regulators would be immense. We've learned the hard way that putting profit ahead of safety is never a good idea, and that's why we must all join together to stop this bad idea from ever seeing the light of day. Now I'd like to ask our Superior Airmanship Award winners to say a few words, beginning with Alaska Airlines First Officer Emily Whiprud.
Thank you, Captain Ambrosi, for this award. My name is Emily Whiprud, and I'm a proud ALPA pilot with Alaska Airlines. I'm with you today because I was a first officer on Alaska 1282 on January 5th, 2024. But as I stand here, I represent so much more than just myself. I'm so honored to accept the Superior Airmanship Award on behalf of the entire crew of 1282, the 6 talented, passionate individuals that I was lucky to stand alongside that day. On the evening of January 5th, I reported for an Ontario turn. We were settling into our typical routine, and Seattle Center cleared us to flight level 230. Around 16,000 feet is when it happened. Calling it ears popping does not do justice. It felt like an explosion. A sudden rush of air forced my body forward. It was so abrupt that in the flight deck, my headset was ripped off and my captain's was nearly dislodged. We quickly realized the door to the flight deck had blown open, then immediately understood the gravity of the situation. Unbeknown to us at the time, the aft left door plug of the airplane had blown off, leaving a hole in the side of the plane and exposing us to the outdoors. For some reason, despite the nearly full flight, there were no passengers in the 2 seats directly next to the hole. I cannot emphasize strongly enough how incredible the crew was in this moment. At the same time, while we were dealing with the emergency and crucial communication needs, those cabin crew members quickly attended to our passengers, keeping everyone calm and safe. My captain showcased and was a perfect example of grace under pressure, maintaining control of the aircraft while working together to land safely. As I completed the rapid depressurization checklist, we coordinated our return to the runway, and as you are all aware, we landed safely, with everybody on board disembarking at the gate, with only minor injuries to 8 individuals on board. As we reflect on that day and the actions of the crew, there is so much to be thankful for. I'm thankful I was working alongside such dedicated and talented crew members. I'm thankful that there were 2 flight crew members in the flight deck, as it enabled us to work as a seamless team in returning to the ground safely. I'm thankful for our training as we continuously undergo at Alaska Airlines, as well as the hundreds of combined flight hours that prepared us so well. I'm also thankful to my fellow Alaska pilot volunteers, from my union leaders who have helped us navigate this high-profile event, and the countless hours of behind-the-scenes work to protect us, to my colleagues with the Critical Incidents Response Program. Their collective quick response, care, and attention that they have shown us is so incredibly important and appreciated. When we fly, our utmost priority is to care for our passengers, and in turn, over these last few months, my family has made their utmost priority to care for me. Thank you.
I'd like to now welcome FedEx Express Captain Hugo Carvajal.
Thank you very much, Captain Ambrosi. This has been quite an experience, and there's no one else I would rather be standing here with than my co-pilot, Rob Burdine, from that day. Thank you for your friendship and your professionalism and your flawless performance during an extremely challenging situation. The success of Flight 1482 extends beyond the efforts of just myself and Rob. It is a reflection of all the professional aviators flying today and the many people and groups like our instructor corps, ALPA, and the NTSB, working collectively to enhance safety for all of us. Together with our years of training and combined hours of experience, Rob and I took what was a fairly routine flight up until that final approach and turned it into a successful landing for everyone involved. Air travel is the safest mode of transportation in the world, and that is due in no small measure to the rigorous training and experience required of airline pilots. Each year, we undergo comprehensive and challenging training and are put through various scenarios to ensure that we are able to handle a myriad of situations. It's the highest level of training that keeps aviation safe, but having 2 pilots in every cockpit is just as paramount to ensure the safe operation of commercial aircraft. Without 2 pilots in the cockpit, on our day, the result would have been an accident and a significant loss of life. Thanks.
Now FedEx First Officer Robert Brady.
Thank you very much, Captain Ambrosi. This is an incredible honor. I never would have envisioned that we'd be standing here today accepting this award on what started out as a completely normal flight on February 4th, 2023. Because of low visibility that day in Austin, we were set up for a Category 3 auto-land instrument approach. About 3 miles out, air traffic control cleared the Southwest plane to take off on the same runway we were already cleared to land on. Because of the visibility issues, we confirmed with Tower again that we were cleared to land. We continued down the ILS, watching and listening. At about a mile out, Tower asked Southwest to confirm that they were on the roll. At this point, we're less than 300 feet above and inside of a mile from the runway. It's pretty tight. Hugo and I continue to visually monitor the approach and hope to see the Southwest plane popping up out of the fog. I looked outside at just the right time and saw the silhouette of the Southwest airplane right where we were planning to be touching down. And it was clear we were definitely going faster than them. That's when I called for the go-around, and the captain executed. No questions asked. At that point, we executed our procedures, started our left-hand turn, and got vectors back around for a second approach, which was uneventful. And Southwest continued to take off and continued on to their destination. When I think back on that day, had there been only 1 pilot on board, no matter who it was, the odds of a good outcome would be very low. We are well trained to fly this kind of technical approach, but it still involves a heavy workload. When you combine low visibility with a large airplane and then throw in the uncertainty of an unusual event that turns into a startle event, the outcome easily could have been very different. But because I happened to be looking out at just the right time, right range, to be able to see them in such low visibility, if there were only 1 pilot who may not have been able to look outside, if we didn't happen to be looking at the exact right spot, it'd be too late, and we'd have 2 large airplanes colliding on the runway. I'm grateful to have been flying that day with my exceptional colleague, Hugo, and for all the support I've received from ALPA, both on the national and local level.
Thank you, all of you, for your exceptional airmanship. I'll now end the conference and take Q&A, please.
We're good? Oh, wait, I've been asked, no, it's all good. Just
There's some microphones for.
I don't
for-
need a microphone. I just wanna make sure I get your, Captain Carville, First Officer Bradine, I know you guys were reading your statements, but could you just, again, detail your thoughts from that day back in February, everything like that? Just kind of, instead of reading, just tell us what that experience was like?
it was pretty routine up until the last 3 miles. As soon as the tower cleared southwest for takeoff, it got our concern heightened a little bit. And we just wanted to confirm some things with the tower, which is why we queried them. Never did I imagine that the plane was going to be right there. I thought at worst case, he would be at the end of the runway about to lift off. I'm so thankful that Rob looked out at the time he did. This was a Category 3 approach, which is a precise instrument approach. And the airspace needs to be very clear. There can't be airplanes on the runway or within close proximity to it to make sure that that beam is going to be read correctly by our airplane. So it's not something that we do every day, a Category 3 approach, but our training is exceptional. Our instructors are exceptional. And we just handled it the best way we could. And we were fortunate that it turned out well.
And what were your thoughts when you saw the Southwest plane in front of you? If you can just detail that moment. You looked through the bottom and saw it there.
Well, to be honest, in recollection, it feels like it was an eternity, but it was probably just a fraction of a second. Disbelief at first at what I thought I was seeing, and then as soon as I realized it really was an airplane, just instinct and training took over, and I called for the go-around, and we went from there.
Okay, that's it. Thank you all.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Well done. Yeah, we'll see you guys in a